Undirected team. How's it going, y'all? I am Dotsale, the undirected guy. We got to talk about this one, team. We have got to talk about this. Like, you know, we're seeing all these crazy crimes, and a lot of these crimes happen when persons that are not supposed to be involved in crime get involved in crime. And, you know, for most of us, we're just supposed to lead a normal life, right? We're supposed to just do what we need to do within society and just fit in. And that's okay. You know, if you're not familiar with gaming and, you know, the different terminologies used in it, there's one that's called NPC. It's non-playable character. Now, these characters are actually very instrumental to the game, especially when you're talking about sandbox or open world games where you have a lot of population of people. You can think of games like Cyberpunk 2077, or we'll use GTA. We're still waiting on GTA 6. Hopefully we get it this year, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna drop because we haven't heard anything for almost a full year now, and they did say 2025. Anyways, that's not really the point of this video. My thing is to say that the playable characters in the game, the main characters, right? And that would be like in GTA 5, that would be like Michael or Franklin, or that other dude with the cut hair tattoo. I forgot his name. Y'all will let me know in the comments. I'll probably remember it shortly after I finish recording this. However, those characters have a purpose in the game, and they make the game fun and exciting, right? Their chaos is calculated and it makes sense. But when you get idiots like this guy in, you guessed it, Florida, well, you know, you end up with things that just don't make sense. And this guy is supposed to remain an NPC and just stay within his geofence within the game. He's supposed to go to work, stay out of trouble, and hardly be seen or noticed. But instead, he wanted to break form and try to become the main attraction. And because of that, he caused a whole bunch of chaos and destruction that was not necessary. And we're seeing that far too much with a lot of these criminals, and it's all bad. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the story, we're gonna watch it in full, and then after that, we will break it down piece by piece and we'll discuss. Because this one is very, very interesting, team. Let's get to it.
We are now working breaking news. A man wanted for carjacking at a packed Oakwood Plaza has been arrested.
Local 10's Terrell Fournier is live in Hollywood with what he's learned. Terrell.
And some very startling moments for two separate drivers in the very same shopping plaza here in Hollywood, as they were the targets of a man who tried to violently take their vehicles. Let's show you the man that police have identified as their prime suspect in this case. His name, Edward James Dawson, seen here in this booking photo. Detectives tell us that he was successful in yanking a woman out of her car and then stealing her ride. Now I'll show you where it all happened. The crimes all took place at the Oakwood Shopping Center, just east of I-95, right off of Sterling Road in Hollywood. It was just before 8 yesterday evening when the first man was approached in his pickup truck. There was a struggle for his keys. A good Samaritan even jumped in, and both were able to overpower that attempted carjacker to prevent the incident. The suspect fled, but moments later, a woman waiting for food at a nearby McDonald's was also targeted. Investigators say that same man jumped into the passenger seat of her car, forcing her out, stealing that victim's keys and her ride. The suspect was eventually caught in Fort Lauderdale, where police made an arrest, a judge laying down his punishment in court just today.
Mr. Dawson.
Judge, I've been advised he's a refusal.
All right. The court does find probable cause. State.
One moment, Your Honor. Your Honor, on counts 1 and 2, recommending $50,000.
Where the hell is Dawson at?
On count 3, $15,000. on counts 4 and 5.
His software wasn't uploading. They couldn't get him to show up.
No bond. No victim contact and no firearms weapon.
State the obvious.
So that suspect, I should say, facing a number of charges to include several counts of carjacking, battery, and aggravated battery. A police report says that initial victim, that was the victim of that attempted carjacking, he suffered a broken nose. His face was even bleeding because of the attack. The Good Samaritan who jumped in suffered an injured knee during it all, but everyone is expected to be okay. More tonight.
So that's the end of this, and we're gonna go back through it and we'll break down. But real quick, I just what's going on with this news reporter? Like, there's something off about him. I don't know if it's his shirt and it's not like, buttoned all the way up to the top. It's kind of wrinkled. His jacket just ain't looking right, but his collar is all messed up. Like, he looked like he didn't take time to iron it or really press it. And then I'm not like, why does he have a single AirPod, which usually look ridiculous in your ears, although they're being more accepted now. But this AirPod right here just doesn't make sense. He's not cleanly shaven. Like, this part right here between the bottom of his chin and under his bottom lip. I mean, I feel like he can clean that up. And he's reading off his iPhone. Like, you don't have any of this memorized. Like, I mean, shout to him. I'm glad he's out there doing his thing. It's good to see him out there, but there's just something that's not right about it. Am I off, or is everything fine with this guy? I feel like he can do a lot better. I really do. And even just the way that he communicates doesn't seem right. But there's always room for improvement, so it's okay. I got a lot of things I got to work on, and that's just part of it. But we got to continue to get better, especially when you get opportunities like this to be on news in Fort Lauderdale. All right, let's go back to the beginning of this, though, because we want to break this down piece by piece and see exactly what's happening, all right? So let's do it.
Has been arrested.
Local 1012 Renee is...
See, look at him. Look at his collar. He don't got an AirPod in his ear. He's got everything laid out neatly. He knows what's going on. He researched. His suit is crispy, like he's got a tie on. He's clean shaven, or at least if he did have facial hair, he probably would have had it, lined up correctly. Hairline's looking right. Yeah. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, it's night and day between these two. Dude, look at this guy. Like, why, though? I don't understand. I don't know, team. I'm still trying to get better, so I'm just trying to learn. And if this is the representation that I'm to learn from, then, what's going to happen with the people that are coming up, and this is what we're learning from. So let's get back to it.
Has been arrested.
Local 1012 Renee is live in Hollywood with what he's learned. Terrell.
And some very startling moments for two separate drivers in the very same shopping plaza here in Hollywood as they were the targets of a man who tried to violently take their vehicles. Let's show you the man that police have identified as their prime suspect in this case. His name, Edward James Dawson, seen here in this booking photo.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Detectives tell us that he was successful in yanking a woman out of her car and then stealing her ride. Now I'll show you where it all happened. The crimes all took place at the Oakwood Shopping Center, just east of I-95, right off of Sterling Road in Hollywood. It was just before 8 yesterday evening when the first man was approached in his pickup truck. There was a struggle for his keys. A Good Samaritan even jumped in, and both were able to overpower that attempted carjacker to prevent the incident.
See, now, this is the first mistake that this guy made. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say, if there's any type of vehicle that you don't want to try to approach to carjack, a pickup truck's gonna be one of them. Mainly because the people that drive pickup trucks, they usually do hard labor work, right? They're usually construction workers, plumbers, carpenters. Shout out to Jesus. But they do labor intensive work, right? And those guys usually are gonna be physically strong, and the resistance is gonna be more likely. Not to mention, they probably, especially in a state like Florida, are gonna have firearms or some type of, box cutters, knives, pocket knives, different types of weapons, things like that, screwdrivers, things that they can use to harm you. So I just think that this guy down here below us is completely just, I don't use the mental health thing very often, but this guy has definitely got serious mental issues. To be a criminal and to be this stupid and incompetent as to try to rob somebody in a pickup truck is just dumb. It's going to be the toughest type of person that you can approach. So that's his first mistake. Let's see what else we got.
The suspect fled, but moments later, a woman waiting for food at a nearby McDonald's was also targeted. Investigators say that same man jumped into the passenger seat of her car, forcing her out, stealing that victim's keys and her ride.
Eat your vegetables!
A woman sitting in a McDonald's drive-thru is later than carjacked. So I'll give him this much. He picked up really quick on who he should probably try to target that's going to give him the least resistance. A woman sitting in a McDonald's parking lot, she's probably not, how can I say this nicely? Actually, I can't say it nicely. She's not going to be in the best position physically, all right?
Oh my God, I fucking hate myself right now.
That's how you're going to think after you get done eating a meal at McDonald's most of the time, no matter what you get. And so he seen her and he said, you know what, this is easy pickings. So he went over there and easily was able to carjack this woman that had zero awareness, and he was able to make away with her vehicle. Now, for him, being a NPC and a fool and an idiot, well, he took a vehicle that had no value. So, getaway car, he's going to be easily caught. She's in, what kind of car they say she was in, did they say? Let me see.
That same man jumped into the passenger seat of her car, forcing her out, stealing that victim's keys and her ride. The suspect was eventually caught in Fort Lauderdale, where police made an arrest, a judge laying down his punishment in court just today.
Mr. Dawson.
Judge, I've been advised he's a refusal.
All right. The court does find probable cause. State.
One moment, Your Honor. Your Honor, on counts 1 and 2,
y'all ain't got to be upset at me because I said that if you eat at McDonald's, it's not a good thing. I think we can all agree with that, right? I mean, anything's fine in moderation, but I'm just saying, okay, me personally, all I'm saying is this. I haven't ate at McDonald's since I was probably 13 years old. I figured that out very early in life. At first, I was misled, and, I thought that McDonald's was a good place to eat at, and I quickly learned at a very, very young age that it's a terrible place to eat at. That's it. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you can do whatever you want to. But in this situation, it puts you in a position to be carjacked by this fool down below us.
recommending $50,000 each. On count 3, $15,000. On counts 4 and 5, $5,000. Count 6, no bond.
They gave him no bond. Surprised at that.
No victim contact and no firearms weapon.
So that victim that suspect, I should say, facing a number of charges to include several counts of carjacking, battery, and aggravated battery. A police report says that initial victim, that was the victim of that attempted carjacking, he suffered a broken nose. His face was even bleeding because of the attack. The Good Samaritan who jumped in suffered an injured knee during it all, but everyone is expected to be okay.
Yeah, so, he did actually inflict damage on the guy in the pickup truck, and more than likely because he fought back. Because if you think about it, the second carjacking victim, the woman at McDonald's, she didn't get any type of injuries because she didn't fight back. Second, he hopped in the passenger seat. She got out of the driver's seat and went out the driver's side door and fled. Because the guy in the pickup truck was like, "You're not taking my stuff." So basically he was fighting, which even gave time for a Samaritan, Good Samaritan, to come over there and assist him, seeing that he was taking punishment from this guy down below. And ultimately he did get the sonic ring slapped out of him and ended up with a broken nose and all that, but he fought back, and that's what you're going to usually get when you're trying to rob people in pickup trucks. Now, realistically, I mean, this guy probably, because it looks like he didn't have a weapon, or maybe he did. He said he needs to stay away from firearms, but they didn't say specifically that this guy had a weapon. So, he's lucky that he wasn't shot, because I think that the percentages are much more increased, dealing with a person in a pickup truck. All right, so what do we think about this, team? What do we think about this? Let's go to undirected perspective. We're going to go dark for this. We got to go dark for this because there's really nothing good about any of this. When you're committing crime, there has to be some type of decorum to your crime, right? And it can't just be completely random with no type of planning involved. And that's what we got from this guy. Like, he basically had no plan. He was just running around picking the worst victim first, and obviously had a lot of resistance there, and then, went to some low-hanging fruit and was able to get her vehicle. But then he was easily caught right afterwards, and now he's sitting in Fort Lauderdale jail with no type of bond associated with it for at least one charge. So they're going to hold him, and he'll be in there for a long time as his case plays out over years, because the judicial system is extremely slow. I mean, this guy probably won't be sentenced for at least, I would say, 18 to 30 months, somewhere around there, if we're lucky. I mean, we see a lot of people that go through the legal system. I seen this one story where this guy, I don't know if y'all seen it, he got the death penalty, and he had an option of lethal injection. It was lethal injection. It was one other one. I forgot the other one. But the third option was firing squad. Like, literally, like a whole bunch of guys with rifles, and you're just, I guess, up against a wall, and then they just shoot you into your demise. And just thinking about it is crazy that he chose that, but that was what he chose. And they absolutely executed him by firing squad. But the thing about it is he actually went to prison for the crime in 1991. He was in prison for 30 years. It was either 91 or 2001. I think it was 91. Regardless, it was at least 2001. And yeah, it was crazy. So when you think about the judicial system, this guy's gonna spend a majority of his time in jail before he even starts his sentence, although they will give you time served oftentimes, and then some of the time that you're waiting and going through trial, it will be added on to your time. So there's that part of it. And I actually want to see if I can find, I'm trying to find this story. Hold on. Oh yeah, I got it right here. All right, hold on, team. We're gonna look at this real quick before we go. We do this live, team. I don't need to look at my phone and figure stuff out, as far as that newscaster did. But we got the story right here. We're going to pull it up. Okay, hold on. So we got it right here. And yeah, it was 2001. I got it right here, team. Yeah. 2001 is when he actually committed the crime. And this is the guy here. Is this? Oh, this is 1976. I was going to say, damn, So he stayed in prison for, okay, that's a whole bunch of other stuff. 15 years. Yeah, he stayed in prison for roughly 24 years, going through all of this legal stuff just to be executed by firing squad when he looks like he's probably, I don't know how old he is. They're not saying it easily for us to find, but I'm just going to look at him and say he's north of 70 at least, probably much older, although certain, ethnicities of people, well, races of people, they look older than they actually are. So this guy could actually be 40 and look 70, but we'll say he's about 70 years old. So he probably did the crime somewhere around like, late 40s, early 50s. And at this point, you could have just left him alive. Well, I'm getting this ad. All right, we can go off this anyways. We're going back to undirected perspective. But yeah, so that guy will be in jail for a long time. But he'll get out eventually, and then he'll do it again. And that's where we're having a lot of issues. So, shout out to games like GTA that actually give these people the type of ideas that they can go out and just jack people like they're in a video game, like they're playing GTA online. But the problem is that most of the people are not supposed to do this because they're gonna continuously fail the mission. But the problem is when you do it IRL, that you end up not coming back. Or you don't just get released from prison or the hospital and you just negative $5,000. And this guy doesn't even have $5,000 to get out. So he'll stay in there indefinitely because he couldn't even afford the $50,000 bond, let alone the $5,000 or any of the other bonds that he got. So that's all I got for this one, team. I'd like to know what y'all have to say and what y'all think about all the crimes that we're dealing with as of late, because the stories are they're non-ending, and I just see them all the time. I try to talk about a lot of different things, but I mean, if I just want to talk about crimes like this, I mean, endless content. But that's not really all that I'm into. All right. Do y'all think we're getting GTA 6 this year for all the gamers? They announced it. They said that it's coming out 2025. We're roughly 4 months into 2025, and we've heard nothing for over a year and 4 months. I don't know, team, but I would like to play it, because if they don't give us GTA 6 soon enough, I might be out here like this NPC and just go out there and just play GTA 6 in real life. Let me get out of here, team.